Hi, this is naturalist Wildman Steve Brill. You're watching Foraging with a Wildman, part of the Inquiring Naturalist series brought to you by the Queen's Green Party. I'm an environmental educator and naturalist. I teach people about wild edible plants, nature, science, and ecology, lead field walks in the parks, looking for what we can eat. And today we are going to the dogs, so to speak, the African wild hunting dogs to be specific. These are very, very interesting, misunderstood animals. There's not a lot of information about them, but my special guest, Frank Vincent over here, does have some information about them, and we will wring that information out of him tonight.
How you doing, Steve?
Hi, good. How are you?
All right.
It's a pleasure seeing you.
Honor to be here.
Okay, the African wild hunting dog. What is this creature?
Well, it's probably one of the most unique animals in the world. It's the most endangered, one of the most endangered as far as wild dogs in general go. There's fewer than 3,000 in the whole continent of Africa. And of that 3,000, there's probably 40% of those that are adults. And out of that 40% is maybe fewer than 17% that are breeding. Now, what that means is that you don't have enough adults that are partaking in breeding to recruit members into the population. Being that only one female in the pack breeds, that could cause long-term problems.
Okay, well, we're going to talk about the breeding and the conservation a little bit later. Tell us a little more about what exactly these dogs are. And what kind of animals? How are they different from other kinds of dogs, like the domestic dog we have here?
Well, the African wild dog is the most social dog. They cannot exist without the pack. The pack is basically a family unit, similar to wolves, that you have a dominant pair that does all the breeding. You have related animals. Usually the males are related to each other, and the females, which have immigrated from other packs, are related to each other. It's just basically a family unit.
And it's a predator that
Right.
Lives in Africa.
Right, they are exclusively carnivorous. Unlike wolves and coyotes and foxes, wild dogs are strictly meat eaters. They have fewer teeth as wolves and coyotes.
They have fewer teeth in their mouth.
Right, because they strictly eat meat.
Wolves and coyotes will occasionally eat some
Right.
vegetable
Exactly.
material.
Right, wild fruit, and depending. Coyotes more so than wolves.
And foxes more so than
Right.
coyotes.
Exactly.
Foxes like the fox scrape that we
Right.
have here.
Exactly.
How did you get interested in these animals?
Well, I've been very passionate about predators since I was very young. The cat and the dog family in particular those are the pets I had all my life. The wild dog, the wolf, the coyote, all the sociable canids are, I have a lot of compassion and passion for them. And they're also the most misunderstood.
So you're basically using a lot of your free time to work to understand, learn about, and conserve these animals.
Right. Basically, I would like to teach other people because the dogs, the wild dog, the wolf, the coyote are probably the most villainized of all the predators. And it's unfortunate because the dog itself, the domestic form of the wolf, is the most popular pet in the world. It's a shame that we judge these animals because of their method of hunting. They're actually extremely family oriented and affectionate to each other.
Okay, so there's a lot of family values in this show tonight also. In addition to family values, we do have some slides, and we're going to take a look at them. Where did you get these slides?
I got these slides, thankfully. I am a member of Lycaon Fund, which is based out of Italy, and they have an American chapter called the African Wild Dog Conservation Fund. And this is the most reputable and the only conservation group involved with conserving these highly endangered predators.
Well, let's take a look before the slide since
Okay.
you brought it up at their magazine. Why is it called Il Laconi?
Well, Lycaon means wild dog in Italian.
Mm-hmm.
Lycaon is Latin for wolf, and the wild dog is similar in its lifestyle to wolves, more so as far as sociability goes. Their scientific name is Lycaon pictus, which in Latin means painted wolf or ornate wolf. And judging by the slides, which you'll see soon, they are very colorful animals, beautiful animals.
Okay, well, let's take a look at the first slide. And why don't you tell us about the slide?
Well, this slide presents the animal perfectly how it is. They're extremely unique looking. No pattern of color is the same. They're all individual. They have the typical dog characteristics of a hunting predator that chases their prey. They have extremely long legs.
Yeah, those legs are incredibly long. Are they longer in proportion to the body than other canids?
Well, most of your canids are very long-legged because they're pursuit predators.
Right.
They travel huge distances. They're nomadic. That's why they need these long legs.
And the ears, of course,
Well,
obvious use, but they do seem to have strikingly large ears.
There could be some reasons for that. They don't know exactly, but it could be that they live in a tropical environment, and having large ears, as you would know, reduces heat, the amount. Well,
it helps dissipate heat.
Exactly. So many of your animals that live in tropical areas will have large ears. Plus, they do have exceptional hearing, as all canids do.
Right.
Their jaws are small compared to wolves and coyotes. They're very powerful jaws, but being that they have less teeth for a strictly carnivorous diet, it doesn't pay to have such a elongated snout as wolves and coyotes do.
So they couldn't really disguise themselves as grandma because Goldilocks wouldn't ask what big teeth you have.
Oh, well, I don't think wolves would be too happy with that. That's a.
Well, we've already done a show on dispelling the myths of the negative press that wolves have gotten.
The wild dog has been villainized just as much as the wolf.
But we will get into that. We're sort of finished with this slide, and we're going to put in our next slide and take a look. Very, very striking animal. I presume it's not a close relative of the domestic dog the way the wolf is?
Right. Wild dogs evolved from a different ancestry than the wolf. The wolf evolved from the coyote millions of years ago. The wild dog evolved from a jackal-like ancestor. There's a lot of missing links in evolution, and hopefully the more work and research that is done, they can understand their evolution more.
Okay, well, here's our next slide. Okay, what does this show us?
Well, it's just
this looks from this angle, it looks almost like a German Shepherd.
Right. Well, they're basically about the size of a German Shepherd. They don't get over 60 pounds. They're pretty much small in comparison to wolves and other large predators of Africa.
What else is about that size? Are they bigger than jackals?
Oh yeah, jackals would average maybe 20 pounds the most. And wild dogs in South Africa especially are about 60 pounds. They're the largest of the wild dogs in the continent of Africa.
Now the eyes look very intense in this photograph.
Right.
I presume they have very good vision also?
Excellent vision. They have excellent vision because of being that they primarily hunt by sight.
How about their sense of smell?
Sense of smell is also well developed.
Do they track things by smell the way wolves might do, or is it mostly visual?
Right, they may, but it's mostly visual. Wild dogs were always thought to be predators strictly of the plains, but they're very adaptable. They can exist in wooded areas, but their sense of smell is very highly developed. All canids have highly developed sense of smell.
So they're basically using just about all of their senses.
Right.
Well, in terms of their speed, how fast are they?
Well, they could probably attain a speed of maybe 30 miles per hour in a straight out uh, while pursuing their prey. Like all canids, they depend more on endurance rather than speed, being that they could last for a very long time and wear their prey down. Wolves do that. That's why they're a very
How about
successful predator.
jackals and coyotes?
Well, coyotes will pack up and hunt large game, deer on occasion. Jackals are primarily uh, small mammals, scavengers. On occasion, they attack Thompson gazelle fawns,
Right.
but that's usually when there are fawns, not throughout the year.
Okay, the last slide showed some pretty big, sharp teeth,
Right.
but they look sort of all the same, as opposed to having some that are more for chewing. They look all
Right.
like sort of tearing teeth.
Right.
And tell us about this slide.
Well, as you can see here, wild dogs are extremely sociable. If wild dogs become separated from the pack during a hunt, or if they're attacked by hyenas or lions, an individual wild dog would not be able to survive on their own. They need the pack. That's the only way
They
they
can't
can.
scavenge at all.
No, wild dogs are not scavengers. Very rarely they will. They usually eat their own kills.
Okay, we're finished with this slide. How many of them will be in a pack?
Well, at the turn of the century, before their numbers were greatly decimated, they have proof of packs being up to about 60 members. Uh, Unfortunately, the dogs have declined so much that the average pack is uh, 15, 30 if they're doing well. But pup survival is not very good.
Okay, and this slide seems to show them in a habitat in terms of plains.
Right. Well,
that's where they're the
well,
most effective. I
this-
mean, why wouldn't they be like in forested areas?
Well, they do. They do occur in forest areas. This is a perfect picture because it depicts. It was once thought that their coloring really had no bearing, and in a lot of ways, animals that do live in open areas, the coloring has no importance because of the method that they hunt.
Yeah, what I've read in the book is that they'll just walk up to
Right.
the prey. The prey knows they're
Right.
there, and at some point when they single out an individual that they're going to go after, that individual is in trouble.
Exactly.
But they're not like lions, which will hide, or
Right.
other cats that sort of hide and sneak up and jump on you.
Right.
So maybe the coloration also helps them keep in contact with each other.
Exactly. But as you saw in the dry season in South Africa, where it's wooded, they can blend into certain areas, and in wooded areas, it would help in order to get close enough to your prey by being sort of cryptic with the surrounding areas. But you're right about the plains areas.
By the way, where did these slides come from? Who photographed them, and where?
These slides were taken by the Wild Dog Group in Italy, the biologists that were there. These are taken in South Africa,
So,
Kruger National Park, where they do have a good population of dogs, but they are declining everywhere. This picture, as you can see, is an aerial photo. This is a pack of 6. And
the six-pack.
right, a 6-pack. And there are probably, in reality, probably trying to get away from the plane, but they could be on a hunt.
Okay, are they usually either hunting or staying still, or are those their main activities?
Right.
Sort of socializing in one spot,
Right.
or often a hunt.
Well, the
How
wild dogs are diurnal. They're often active during the day. They hunt in early mornings and in dusk. During the middle of the day, they'll be relaxing and socializing with each other. And on occasion at night, full moons where the visibility is good, they'll hunt.
Okay, it looks like they're having a bite of lunch here.
Right.
What are some of their prey?
This is an impala that they have taken down. It's about
the fewer cars we have polluting the atmosphere,
right.
the better.
Yep, exactly. Impalas are about 120 pounds, so they're a pretty formidable antelope to bring down. Mostly medium-sized antelopes, whereas lions and hyenas would prey on larger antelopes. Some packs will specialize in zebra. Zebra are very aggressive animals, and I have seen footage of zebras biting to death lionesses, a lioness. So it just gives you the idea that the prey are definitely well equipped. Wild dogs are one of the most successful predators, but prey is still a hard thing. There's no warbounds or D'Agostino's in Africa.
Right. Unfortunately, they're not vegetarians, or they could come on my walks and I could show them what plants to eat if they sort of had a hard day at the hunt. How often do they hunt?
Well, when they're denning, when the pups are being born, they could hunt as much as twice a day. They're nomadic, so it's usually whenever they come across prey.
Well, when they're denning, they're not nomadic.
Right. When they're denning, they're pretty much in the same area. But twice a day with dependent puppies.
Oh, those the dependent puppies?
Right. Wild dogs are also
they're
unique.
Cute.
Yeah, they are. They're very cute. Wild dogs are probably the most unique of the large mammals, that they have the largest litters. They average about 8 to 12 puppies, and that's pretty large. On record, the largest litter was 20.
What other large mammals have large litters? What
None.
would be the closest? None.
None.
What do wolves have? They're pretty large.
Wolves and coyotes would average about 6 pups. In cases where there's predator control, where wolves and coyotes are being persecuted, females will tend to breed younger and have larger litters to make up for the population.
Mm-hmm.
But wild dogs average 10 to 12 puppies each time. Only maybe 1 or 2 will live to be an adult.
So what are these? These are puppies too?
Right. This is about
how old would you say these are?
This is about 3 months old. Right now they're fully weaned, and they're getting big and strong enough that they could follow the pack on its nomadic lifestyle.
Mm-hmm. So it's pretty lucky to get shots of them.
Oh yeah. Well, they're very photogenic. They're not very timid as wolves are of vehicles. So on safari, most of the African animals you can get good pictures of. The only thing is they're very rare. Mm-hmm. And in fact, that's part of the mortality, is them getting hit by cars.
Mm-hmm. What happens if you come out of a car? Will they watch you? Will they run away from you? Do they ever attack people?
Wild dogs, on record, there's never been any instance of wild dogs attacking a human being.
It's like wolves in America. They don't attack people either. Unfortunately, we can't say the same for domestic dogs, especially if you're a post office worker.
Right, but people should always remember that any wild animal deserves respect. And
of course,
as you can see, what great parents they are.
They look very caring and affectionate.
Right. The whole pack will return from a hunt and feed the mother, unless she's old enough to go on. Unless she's
young or old enough.
Right. They'll all regurgitate for the puppies, even subordinates, dominant animals, and they'll even regurgitate for each other.
It seems like they love each other.
Oh, they definitely do. They're compulsively social to each other. Or one regurgitates and stimulates another one to regurgitate for them. These pups are begging. This is definitely a male, and it could be the father, or it could be just a yearling that had returned from the hunt, and they beg the adults, much as your domestic dog would jump up and lick your face, and this stimulates the older animal to regurgitate the food, which hasn't even been digested, for the puppies.
Yeah, that's a lot safer than bringing the puppies to the food with scavengers and other animals going after it.
Right.
So most or all canids do that.
All canids. Maybe some of the foxes don't.
Birds do that too.
Right. I'm not too familiar with birds. You probably know more than I would.
Some birds will do that.
Right, but that is a definite canid evolutionary trait. As far as competing with other large predators. Wolves and wild dogs evolved, and coyotes and jackals, to regurgitate the food. This is another
This is
picture.
another example of the same
Right.
thing.
See, the pup is licking the mouth. This adult is probably just about ready to regurgitate food. Larger predators like hyenas and big cats and bears would steal or even kill the adults if they were bringing back a leg or a piece of meat for the puppy. So
Right.
it serves better to have it in your stomach, partly digested, and bring it back up for the puppies.
Yeah, it's a lot safer. These are wonderful slides.
Yeah, they're beautiful. My thanks to the Lycaon group that loaned them to me.
Yeah, it's great that there's at least some group working to conserve these animals. Until I started talking to you and some of your associates, the Wolfman who did the show on wolves a while back, I really wasn't more than very vaguely aware of these animals, whereas other endangered species, from elephants to rhinos, have a lot more visibility in the conservation culture.
Unfortunately, no group is taking them seriously. This is probably the most highly endangered animal in Africa. In some areas, elephants are so numerous that they're controlling them by shooting them. The wild dog could very possibly disappear within the next decade.
What's going on in this slide?
Well, the puppies are old enough to come out of the den.
About how old would you say?
They're about 5 weeks old now.
Mm-hmm.
Their eyes are open and everything, and they're probably going to meet the members of the pack, which is a joyous time for the whole pack. They're just ecstatic about the puppies, as any parents would, or family members. And this is probably the mother. She's leading them from the den to meet. She's probably going to give them some milk. It looks as they're going to get underneath her and get some milk. But about this time, they'd be introduced to the whole pack, and the whole pack would begin the very tedious work of raising all these babies. It's hard work.
I can imagine they're stuck in one place, so they can't follow game. I guess they try to wait for a time of year when the game is plentiful to be able to do that.
But unfortunately, that doesn't always happen, and sometimes pups are born in the dry season where game has already migrated away, and it's an extra burden.
And what happens? Do they just starve? The pups starve?
Yeah, well, wild dogs, the puppies in particular, have a very high mortality. Unfortunately, many of these puppies will not live to even be adults. 90% of the litter dies.
Yeah, that's sort of similar with other animals that have large litters.
But for the wild dog, for some reason, it's
higher
more
mortality.
So.
Well, maybe that's why they have larger litters.
Exactly.
It sort of compensates. These are beautiful little pups here.
Yeah, litter mates will bond with each other and remain with each other. When females disperse, they usually disperse with their sisters to seek out males to form new packs. So very closely bonded these animals are to each other.
Absolutely beautiful animals.
They are, definitely.
And I guess products of millions of years of evolution. So they branched off from the other canid lines very early, but the jackal or something jackal-like was ancestral to the other canids?
Well, it's complicated. Wild dogs, as their family, they're pretty recently evolved, about a million years ago.
Only a million?
Right. Wolves, a wolf-like canid has been around for a longer time, the coyote being the progenitor of wolves. The gray wolf itself, only about 800,000 years. But the family of the wild dog has only been around for a million years, which is basically pretty young.
Yeah, we've only been around as fully humans for about 250,000 years, and we're one of the most recent species to evolve. So this must be one of the species a little bit less recent than us in evolutionary time.
Well, as soon as the habitat changed, predators that chase their prey evolved, and the wild dog has been one of the most specialized of all those coarser predators.
Africa had been forested, And when things started to dry out and there were plains instead of forests, our ancestors started walking upright, even though the brains were still essentially the brains of apes. And apparently that was somewhere around the same time as these hunting dogs started to evolve from their jackal-like ancestors.
Yep.
And then we went on through many species to develop the large brains that we have, and somehow all the other species, maybe with our doing, went extinct, and these hunting dogs are still around.
Well, it's arguably that we did learn our hunting from the Canid tribe, the wolves and wild dogs themselves. So,
well, non-technological tribes do watch animals and see what they do. So this is like a typical litter here?
Right. This is at the den site, and they're always together, the litter mates.
I guess there's safety in numbers like a herd if there are predators that will attack them.
There'll always be an adult that stays behind to guard them from lions and hyenas.
Not necessarily the mother.
Not necessarily the mother.
When does the mother actually first leave the pups?
Once they're weaned, any adult will watch them. They are solely dependent on the single female that provides the milk for them, which would be their mother. On occasion, another subordinate female will give birth, which is rare. Being that they have so many puppies, dominant females will try to discourage it. Right. She will either adopt the puppies or allow them to perish because it's too many mouths to feed. But there is a lot of competition between females to get those breeding rights.
Is there competition between the pups?
Well, as with all mammals, there are dominant, acts that go on. Wild dogs are unique and differ from wolves, where there are dominant animals, but at the kill, they all feed peaceably with each other.
They're a little more democratic.
Yeah, you can say that. There could be a lot of reasons for that, being that they aren't as large as wolves, and game is much more plentiful, as opposed to the whole Arctic, where game is far and few between.
Well, with the wolves, if the wolves kill something, nothing is going to go after it to take it away from the wolves. A polar bear or a grizzly bear or a mountain lion isn't really going to, may watch, but isn't going to actually go and try to take the prey away from the wolves, so they can compete with each other for the lion's share of the food. Whereas with the hunting dogs, the lion may actually come in and
the only way they
jackals, which are in greater numbers, so they've got to share everything with the least amount of squabbling and wolf it down pretty quickly.
You can say that's how they compete, is who can eat the fastest and the most. So and after they do eat, they usually regurgitate it for each other anyway. So
yeah, so everything does get shared. Okay, these look like older pups?
Yeah, these are still about 3 months old, probably 4 months old. Like I said, they'll be leaving the den soon to follow the adults.
They look intelligent and curious. Do they go and explore everything they can?
Very intelligent, very curious. All large predators are intelligent and curious.
Is there information on comparative intelligence among different canids? I know wolves are very intelligent too. Is there a way of telling whether these animals are more intelligent than the wolves?
Well, I don't think you could judge an animal on its intelligence. Naturally, you will have intelligent ones and ones that need to learn, the same as people. All social predators will need a great amount of intelligence to coexist and to survive. No doubt that wolves and wild dogs are extremely intelligent, in fact, probably just as intelligent as each other. It's hard to measure intelligence in animals.
Yeah, it is. For example, what is it, maybe a raccoon? A raccoon is supposed to be extremely intelligent, but it won't always perform on the intelligence test the way it's supposed to. So it's really difficult if you can't tame something to tell its intelligence. Have people tried taming these dogs, either in recent times or in ancient times? I know ancient kings and princes had pet zebras and giraffes and all kind. Although when the zebra got to maturity, you couldn't really deal with it.
Well, I'm sure, no doubt, our ancestors did. But what they probably found more advantageous to have wolves instead of wild dogs is wolves have that where you can dominate the wolf at a kill and put it in its place to show, show that you're the boss and that it'll feed later on. Whereas opposed wild dogs all communally feed together, it would be hard to establish your
There's
dominance.
nothing, people sort of do human selection similar to natural selection when they domesticate an animal or a plant, but you need some kind of behavior to work with, and that apparently isn't there. What's going on in this slide? That looks
Well,
like
as you can see right here,
jackal?
that's a hyena.
A hyena, I mean,
Hyenas are basically the most abundant large carnivore in Africa. They are one of the main reasons in East Africa why wild dogs, well, they're not the main reason, but they're one of the reasons. Man is the main reason. But hyenas, the abundance of them, has caused wild dogs not to do so well.
What is going on here? It looks like the hyena and the dog are fighting, and
right,
another one is going to bite the hyena in the rear end in a minute and distract
this pack of wild dogs is attacking this hyena. Hyenas, when attacked by wild dogs, will take to water, or they'll back their hindquarters up against something.
The hindquarters are vulnerable.
Right. This hyena probably wandered too close to the den where the puppies are. Hyenas do eat wild dog puppies. Hyenas are also not dogs. They're related to cats. They, the concerted effort of the pack is what will keep hyenas at bay. That's why...
if the pack is out hunting and there's one wild dog protecting the litter and a hyena comes along, the litter is in trouble?
Well, pretty much. Usually the pack will be back in time. It's complicated to say because hyenas are part of wild dog pup mortality. They're a big reason why puppies don't get to live to be adults, and that's part of predation. That's just the way it goes.
Right. Okay, let's take a look at some more questions. Let's go more into the endangered aspects of these animals. They're endangered because of humans encroaching on their hunting grounds, basically, and because people seem to want to kill them.
Right.
Okay,
basically,
here's our last slide, by the way, which again just seems to show the typical hunting dog.
Yes, very long-legged, beautifully spotted coat with large ears. Short muzzle, powerful jaws. This is probably on the Serengeti. It's a plains area. And most of your films of wild dogs were on the Serengeti only because they were easily filmed. Unfortunately, there are no more wild dogs on the Serengeti. They all have gone extinct.
Is there a possibility of bringing them back?
They're working on it. There are some dogs in East Africa, but the Serengeti, unfortunately, there are no viable packs anymore.
How about captive breeding? Has that been tried and does it work?
Right. There's a lot of wild dogs in captive breeding. Unfortunately, they haven't initiated a captive breeding program yet, but there are a lot of zoos that have wild dogs. The Catskill Game Farm, if anybody's interested in going up there, they have a pack of 6. A lot of, unfortunately, just like in the wild dog puppies don't do very well in captivity. You have a high mortality, but they do pretty well. You know, they live.
So you think there might be a possibility to reintroduce them, or do you think they wouldn't have learned the skills from their parents and wouldn't really know how to hunt?
Right. Well, this animal in particular needs that taught to them. That's they are totally dependent on the adults to teach them.
So we're better off trying to keep the ones that are still in the wild then depending on sheltering them in zoos and then reintroducing them.
Right. It could be done, bringing captive animals into the wild, but it's a very complicated process and needs to be studied further. Wild dogs are very intelligent in the fact that they need to be taught uh, these certain survival skills.
Mm-hmm. So do you think there is hope for them?
I'm very optimistic. The Lycaon Fund and the African Wild Dog Conservation Fund are very optimistic. Uh, I hope so. I hope that people will become open-minded and come to their aid.
And the thing that closes people's minds is just because they're predators like wolves or cats, and I guess also they run after the prey, and when they get it, they tear it open and disembowel it,
Right.
which could be pretty painful for the prey, but
Right.
it's the way nature
Right.
works.
Well, it's the only way they can kill. They are small animals in relation to other predators, hyenas, wolves, and lions. So it's the only way that they could accomplish that. And large packs usually dispatch the prey pretty quickly.
Hmm.
So it's just that they've been decimated so much that you have smaller packs that are attempting to bring down larger animals that are dangerous to the pack itself, and it takes longer.
Hmm.
But human patience is the key to their survival.
Okay, let's talk a little bit more about how they prey on animals. What will happen from beginning to end in a typical hunt?
Well, like you mentioned before, they usually they'll stalk for a short period of time.
Well, do
and
they
come
have a
into view.
pep rally first, like the wolves do
Right.
with howling?
Right, that's part of their social behavior.
And what times of day do they hunt?
Morning and dusk. They would have that pep rally before each hunt. It's the basic social thing that happens to bond.
They howl, they lick each other.
Well, they don't howl.
They don't
But they
howl.
do lick each other, and they twitter and they whine. And
What are their sounds? Can you make any wild
if
dog
anyone
sounds?
has heard a mourning dove, it's
Mhm.
very similar to that.
Sort of woo.
Right, exactly. Very similar to that. And that's usually if one member becomes separated from the pack, and it's a similar equivalent to wolves howling.
Okay, so they will do that, and then they'll go in search of prey, which could be zebra or more likely some kind of antelope.
Right,
Do they go after
impala.
wildebeest, which are pretty big?
The calves, pretty much, the young and
Mhm.
yearlings. Wildebeest and adult zebra are formidable animals, and
Mhm.
they will turn on their pursuers. They're also very large. Wild dogs will probably prey on antelope that range between 50 to 200 pounds, whereas some zebra are almost 600 pounds.
If they do go after zebra, do they find old, weak, or young ones?
Well, usually, all predators are opportunistic, so that means whichever one is available at that moment, they will, take advantage of it. Usually the young fall victim.
Are there situational occurrences? I know, like some of like a lion will go after a completely healthy animal if the animal just isn't aware and is separated from the herd and goes near the lion where it's not able to get away.
Right, exactly.
Will the hunting dogs do the same kind of thing?
Right, whichever animal poses the most vulnerable at the moment. A healthy animal could have just broken its leg and fall victim to the pack. And I shouldn't say victim. Dogs have to eat too.
Yeah, yeah.
That's you're right. That's pretty much how it is. All predators are opportunistic.
Okay, now every animal has its own niche, its own way of making a living that's different from other animals. But in Africa, you have the hunting dogs, you have the lions, the cheetahs, the hyenas going after the same kind of prey. How do they sort of find a separate job from these other predators to maintain their numbers, or do they really? Or is there really a lot of direct competition for prey with these other animals?
Well, to start off, there are 5 basic large predators in Africa, and they have sort of a hierarchy, so to say.
So it's the lion, the leopard,
no, the hyena,
the hyena,
the wild dog, the leopard, and the cheetah is at the bottom.
That's the smallest.
Right. Well, they're also a little timid, and they don't have the sociability that lions, hyenas, and wild dogs have. And
right, the dogs being a pack.
Leopards being...
they're pretty large.
Well,
And leopards are sort of in trees and they fall
Right.
on things, so there wouldn't be as in much
Right.
competition
Right.
with the African wild hunting dogs, which are on the plains more.
Well, wild dogs are in forested
They are in
areas. The
forested.
thing about what minimizes competition is wild dogs and cheetahs are diurnal, being that they hunt during the day.
Hmm.
Hyenas, leopards, and lions are primarily nocturnal. So that cuts down on the competition pretty much.
Hmm.
Also, it's inevitable that large predators compete with each other. They will kill each other. Lions are one of the biggest cause of mortality of wild dogs in South Africa.
So what happens? The wild dogs bring something down, and the lion will have a conflict, or will the
Right.
lions actually pounce on a wild dog if
Well,
it can get it unaware?
yes, pretty much both
Both.
those things. Lions are scavengers too.
Hmm.
A big misconception about hyenas is that hyenas are always robbing from lions. That's just not true. Lions rob, if not more, from hyenas and
Hmm.
kill hyenas more. So the Lion King didn't do the hyena any justice.
Hmm.
But lions,
So the hyena didn't have the last laugh.
no, I certainly hope not. I hope someone comes out and helps hyenas.
Yeah, well, they're not really in trouble, though, are they?
No,
They have very bad press,
very bad press.
but they're not in trouble.
They're matriarchal, so all the women should love them.
Yeah,
They're female-dominated society.
right. Well, I would love to do a show on hyenas at some
They're
point,
wonderful
also,
animals.
but I guess we should try to stick with the
Okay.
wild dogs. What are some of their other adaptations? I mean, physically, we talked about them already. Socially, they seem to function really, really well in packs. How do they cooperate during a hunt? Let's say they finally found an animal, a prey animal. They've selected it, and they're going after it. What
Right.
is sort of the difference between them going after it and say Mo, Larry, and Curly going after?
They'd probably trip, Mo, Larry, and
Right,
Curly.
right.
But wild dogs,
How do they communicate during the hunt? What will one do different from the other? Is there a leader?
well, it doesn't seem to be too much strategy involved. It's
Hmm.
whatever. Usually, when they go on the hunt, they bunch up together,
Hmm.
and once the prey is flushed, they spread out. And each dog tries to chase an individual. Uh, Whichever individual they assume could be caught is where the pack focuses on.
Hmm.
Uh, some prey animals, like Thompson gazelles in the Serengeti, usually make a circle when they're chased.
Hmm.
So sometimes dogs learn to stay in a particular area, and one dog will chase it to the other. Uh, Not so much that
Is
they're
that a good strategy if it's an individual predator that's going after the gazelle, or is it just somehow a maladaptation that it circles?
what as far as
The,
Thompson gazelles go?
yeah, yeah, it
Well,
doesn't seem very
right. Well, see,
very
Thompson,
effective way of getting away.
well, from wild dogs, no, but cheetahs are very short-winded. Uh, Most of the big cats cannot last on long chases,
Hmm.
so it doesn't work too well in guarding against wild dogs. But most other predators, it will. But just to show you the intelligence that wild dogs have, that they can learn that uh, through watching their prey and experience.
Hmm. Okay, let's and then when they catch the animal, they just grab it anywhere.
They grab it anywhere, usually from the hindquarters and the stomach area. They disembowel it, which is the only way they can secure a meal for themselves.
Hmm.
Uh,
Do they eat everything, or do they leave bones?
they pretty much, well, they're not really bone gnawers like hyenas or
Hmm.
wolves are. They will consume the whole thing. If pups are there, the pups would eat first. Uh, they pretty much all the edible parts as far as meat goes. Usually bones and hair is left.
Okay, well, let's go a little bit more into their social life. You have the pups; they are taken really well care of by the entire pack.
Right.
What happens to the pups when they grow up? Do they all disperse? Do the males disperse and the females stay together, or vice versa? I know in some animals and even in some human societies, there's more of a tendency for one sex to disperse and the other sex to stay put.
Right.
So you don't need both sexes to disperse to prevent inbreeding.
Right. Well, exactly. Wild dogs are unique that the females leave the pack, whereas most mammals, males will leave. Wild dogs will leave because of the friction involved with the right to breed. Only one female can breed within the pack. Uh, Usually, sisters will leave and they'll team up with related males and form their own pack.
Well, where do the related males come from?
Well, they'd probably be a pack that probably lost their females, or they could be young males that did disperse on their own too.
Because the females disperse, are there usually more males in a pack?
Exactly, right. There are more males. Even litters are construed more to males. A beautiful story in the Ngorongoro crater, which is part of the Serengeti, before the wild dogs were decimated. There was a pack that lost their female, and all the males successfully raised the puppies.
Mm-hmm.
So that just gives you an idea of how social and how together they are.
Well, what kind of a crater is the Ngorongoro crater? How wide is it?
Well, it's a large. It's a
how many
dormant
miles
volcano.
across?
I'm not too sure. I would think it's maybe 5 miles, maybe more. I'm not too familiar with Ngorongoro crater, but it's a large. It's inside a volcano.
So it's sort of like a separate little environment because the animals would have to climb up the sides to get in.
Right, right.
So you have a little bit of a laboratory there. And what became of that pack? You said
well, all the wild dogs, just like on the Serengeti, perished from disease, competition with hyenas and lions.
What kind of diseases do they get? We didn't talk about that yet.
Right. Well, wild dogs, unfortunately, unlike wolves and coyotes, have only experienced domestic dogs within the last 80 years. So they're not as hardy to certain diseases that domestic dogs can.
Distemper, rabies.
Distemper, rabies. Funny thing about rabies is wild dogs are not transmitters of rabies. They only get it. And once they get it, pretty much the whole pack perishes because of their social nature. Parvo, they can contract anthrax from the prey that they kill.
Is anthrax a new disease to Africa?
No.
Or that was always around?
Well, with domestic cattle, they have a tendency to carry anthrax. But you have buffalo, and the antelopes are related to the cattle family, so they would be susceptible to anthrax too. Anthrax doesn't take its toll as much as distemper and rabies does. Those are really horrid diseases, and they wipe out whole packs.
Do you think even without human intervention that these new diseases could eventually cause these animals to become extinct?
Well, it's been proven that disease has caused extinction in some areas. Mostly it's due to persecution by human beings. But wild dogs are pretty hardy, and being exposed to diseases over a period of time, they can become resilient. Wild dogs and disease, I'm sure, have evolved together.
Well, except for the new ones that humans brought in.
But if given the chance, they probably could overcome that obstacle.
How long do they usually live?
Well, in the wild, it's rough to estimate, but in captivity, about 11 years would be average.
They probably live less long in the wild.
Right.
So maybe something like 7, 8, or 9 years. How old do they have to be to reproduce?
Well, they mature about a year or two old. Females can produce litters at a year old, which is beneficial. Most wild canids, like wolves and coyotes, don't mature until they're 2 or 3 years old. So they do mature about a year old. Males probably mature about 2 years old.
Okay, let's talk a little bit more about their reproduction. A female comes into estrus, or does just the dominant female come into estrus?
Well, most likely
into heat.
Right. Well, the dominant female will prevent other females from coming into estrus by stress or whatever,
Hmm.
intimidation, and sometimes a subordinate female will come into estrus and be mated with, and
Hmm.
she will have a litter.
What is the proportion of litters from the dominant female to the subordinate ones?
As far as numbers,
Yeah, how many is it like 5 to 1
uh,
that the chance that the dominant female will be the one to have the pups?
right. Well, most
That's just a
definitely.
guess.
Right. Well, most definitely the dominant female will breed, but on occasion you will have a subordinate that will have puppies.
Okay,
And
do you think it's something like 5 to 1 or 10 to 1
well,
number of
I
times
would just
or
say the majority of the time the dominant female is
okay.
the one that produces.
Okay, do they have a courtship?
Yeah. Well, they are pretty much monogamous to some extent, just like wolves. No mammal is totally
And
monogamous.
it'll be the dominant male and
Dominant
the
male and a
dominant
dominant
female.
female, and they are individual and do have their preferences. So.
Hmm. Okay, so then um, when does the pack know to stop moving from place to place so that the female can dig a den and have the pups?
Well, about a month before she does have the puppies, they'll stop and take
How
either.
do they know? Is it by smell?
Well, I would guess so. Probably. I haven't asked them, but
Hmm.
most likely, I think animals have that capability of to know when it's time. And she'll probably, on rare occasions, dig her own den, but most likely find a den abandoned by porcupines or armadillos, not armadillos, but anteaters,
Hmm.
and even hyena burrows. They'll take, and they'll just reconstruct them.
Okay, what size is the den? Is it the size of this table?
Well, it could be fairly large, not large like a cave large, but enough for the adult to get in there and have enough room to lay down with the pups.
Sounds like the room I had when I was in college in the dormitory,
Probably,
but
yeah.
probably not as luxurious. Okay, how long is the female pregnant?
63 days.
Hmm.
So she's a little bit longer than wolves and domestic dogs.
And when do the puppies first come out of the den?
About 5 weeks old, they would
Hmm.
come out, and they're not weaned yet. They're weaned about 12 weeks old.
12 weeks old.
So
And when they're weaned, is that when they start following the pack? When do
uh,
they become nomadic again?
when they're weaned is when they start eating meat, which you know.
Yeah,
Uh,
but that could be regurgitated meat
right.
as far as when they get moving with the pack.
Well, about 2 to 3 months, 3 to 4 months old, they're old enough to wander with the pack, and adults will lead them to kills and eventually
About how
gradually.
old until they actually can participate in effective hunting?
About a year old. It's a lot of learning
That's
to
quite
be
a
done.
while.
Yeah.
Yeah. We don't have too much time left. I do want to talk about some books. My favorite one of the books you had me recommend is this one, Innocent Killers, by Jane Goodall, who's famous for her work on chimpanzees, and her husband Hugo, who is who's a wildlife photographer.
Right.
And this is divided. It's 1/3 African wild hunting dogs, 1/3 jackals, and 1/3 hyenas. And it is a wonderful, wonderful book. I reserved this from the library.
Yes, it is.
Some great pictures
One of the
too.
first literary works on wild dogs.
Well, she did the same thing that she did with chimpanzees. She
Right.
just went there and followed them and recorded everything in a very thorough manner
Right.
and drew her conclusions. And this was over 20 years ago.
Hmm.
And this one is also quite good. Serengeti: A Kingdom of Predators. This is by George Schaller, who does the same thing with the observations with the lions.
Right.
And there is a good chapter on the African wild hunting dogs. So that's another one people may want to get.
These are the pioneers of African conservation.
Okay, Wild Dogs of the World is quite good too. That has a lot of different species of wild dogs. You sort of get the a whole feeling for this group of animals.
Right.
So I like that one too. There's only one little part on the African wild hunting
Right.
dogs, but it still sort of puts it in perspective.
Unfortunately, all these books are out of print. So
Yeah, they're in the library
right.
system.
Right.
So
So
you
that would
just
be the best bet.
you just reserve them, and that's it. And this really shows a sad state of affairs in terms of people who are interested in nature
Right.
having source material. When I did shows on wolves or bats, there were lots and lots of books on all of these animals.
Right.
And here we have 3 books that are sort of divided among different animals.
Right.
In the minute we have left, tell us again about the conservation group or groups that you work with, and people can get in touch with my guest Frank Vincent at my phone number, which will be on the screen at the end of the show,
Right.
if you want to take part in this kind of work.
Right. Well, unfortunately, the wild dog is not being recognized by a lot of large conservation groups. The Lycaon Fund and the African Wild Dog Conservation Fund are the only groups that are working for the wild dog. Unfortunately, all the big conservation groups are pretty much just for the more popular wildlife.
Is there any way of changing that?
Well,
conservation. It doesn't make sense.
Conservation, unfortunately, is that way too. Hopefully, they will have an enlightened look at this beautiful, unique animal. The wolf is popular now, where 20 years ago it wasn't.
Bats also.
Right. So hopefully the wild dog will get recognized before they're all gone, because it's a shame to save rhinos and elephants and not save the wild dog, which is probably the most unique and, my opinion, most beautiful animal in Africa.
It's an incredible animal.
It is.
And this has been a wonderful hour. It's opened my eyes, and the little reading I was going to do has done that also. This is naturalist Wildman Steve Brill. I take people on edible plant ecology and science field walks in the parks throughout our area. My number will be on the screen. Frank Vincent, thank you very much for being on the show.
It was an honor for you to have me.
It was an honor having you on this. I'm really glad to have brought this unique information out, and the slides were great too.
You know, you're one step ahead of the game. You brought the attention of this animal, which has been so misunderstood and so unknown. And my thanks to you.
Thanks a lot. We're out of time. This has been Foraging with a Wildman, part of the Inquiring Naturalist series, brought to you by the Queen's Green Party. See you in the field.